Hello, my name is Chris Green, insurance agent, owner, Community First Insurance Agency. First of all, I just want to say thank you for reaching out to us to review your auto insurance needs. Putting you and your family into a circle of insurance protection is our number one goal. We want to help you understand your insurance, understand how to shop for it, and how it's there to protect you. So we're going to take a few minutes and go through auto insurance coverages. When you're out there shopping for auto insurance, whether you decide to go with us, we'd love to be your preferred agency. But if not, we still want to make sure you have the right resources and tools so you can make the decision that's best for you and your family. The first coverage we want to take a look at here is going to be your bodily injury limits. When you're looking at either a quote or your current policy, these are very important limits. These are basically the limits that you're protected at, where if something was to happen, you were at fault in an accident, once these limits are exceeded, you could be sued. So that's one thing you want to look at on bodily injury. The state minimum you generally in Alabama and Georgia is $25,000 per individual, $50,000 per the entire incident, and $25,000 for property damage. The minimum that we normally recommend is $100,000 per individual, $300,000 for the accident, and $100,000 for property damage. And it just kind of give you an example of how these could exceed really quickly. Say you're in a multi-car accident, and you've got two different people that are injured. One of them has $50,000 in bodily injury. The other one only has about $10,000. For the total accident, if you had $100,000, you would think you would be great, but it's actually incorrect. Because if you only had, let's say, $25,000 per individual, $50,000 for the incident, and you have that one person that has more than the per individual amount, you could be held responsible for that difference. And so that's why we usually recommend those higher limits. Someone could come back and sue you, take your house, things like that. And the other reason we usually recommend them too is many times you can get discounts for having higher coverages with an insurance carrier. So that's another way to save yourself on the auto insurance. So the next thing you want to take a look at is going to be your uninsured motorist coverage. We usually recommend matching this to your bodily injury. The limits work the same way, but when these applies, if you're hit by somebody with no insurance or not enough, say if they have the state minimum and you have some significant injuries, if you don't have the uninsured motorist in place, there could be that gap there where you have to go after them. And if there's nothing there, you could be on the hook for lots of medical bills. So that's why we always recommend the higher limits on uninsured motorists. The next thing is medical payments. What we usually recommend on this is $5,000. Medical payments goes to pay for things like co-pays if you were to be in an auto accident and your health insurance is exceeded. To kind of give you an example, my wife was hit by two 18-wheelers about 15 years ago, and we had medical payments. Thankfully, we had high deductibles on our insurance, and the medical payments kicked in and provided most of those co-pays at no cost. Now, if you're looking at what's called full coverage, is what a lot of people call it, that's what's called comprehensive and collision coverage. What comprehensive is if you hit an animal, if your car's parked, hail damage, theft, things like that are going to fall into comprehensive. If you have a car is parked and it's hit and it's a hit and run, that's generally going to be uninsured motorist. There's going to be a different kind of deductible for that. It's usually about $250. So it's more important to understand the difference there. The next thing is collision. This is if you hit someone else's property and your fault. Whether it be a telephone pole, another vehicle, a building. Basically what this means is that your collision deductible is what you're going to be responsible for. The insurance company will pick anything up, just like your comprehensive. Now, some things where people get misunderstood is they're like, where does glass coverage fall? Generally, glass coverage falls under comprehensive. There are a few carriers out there that do separate glass coverage. So this is something to consider when you're looking at your comprehensive deductible. Because most windshields will be about $200 or $300. If you have a $500 deductible, then it makes no sense to file a claim. So whenever there is glass coverage out there, ask about it and say, hey, do you offer a separate glass coverage? I'll give you an example. Travelers usually does a $50 deductible in Alabama and Georgia on glass coverage. Then there's several other companies out there that do the same. So this is just a couple areas to kind of help protect yourself. The next thing to look at is roadside assistance and rental car coverage. While these two are great, we usually don't recommend using the roadside assistance on your insurance policy. We recommend maybe matching it with something like AAA. And the reason is, what most people don't realize, when you file that roadside assistance, it actually goes in there as comprehensive claims. And if you have a few of these, it can have a big impact on your rate. So these are some things just to consider when you're putting these coverages together and you're shopping for this insurance. The next thing is going to be your not your roadside assistance, but your car rental. What a lot of people don't realize is this is just for if you were to have an accident. Let's just say the average is about $30 a day up to $900 max. This means if your car had to go in the shop as a result of an accident and you were at fault, you do have that $30 per day to pay for a rental car. And I'll be honest with you, the $30 a day is not going to go very far. It's going to be a pretty smaller car. And so that's why usually we recommend having rental car coverage between $40 and $50 a day. So these are just some things to look at. Also, I ask about accident forgiveness. If you haven't any accidents or tickets for 5 years, this is something else that a lot of companies recommend. So if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call at 205-451-4294 or 770-464-5024. If you want to find out more about some different discounts, just click below to learn more about the homeowners insurance discount, the flood discounts, and the life insurance discounts that companies offer. Thank you.